Well, good morning to everybody. It feels chilly. It feels like the first day of winter. It is not, thankfully. I'm glad you're all here. And again, you see our flags, and again, it is Veterans Day, Friday, and Veterans Weekend. So thank you to our veterans, and we say that very deeply. Many who are not with us, but who have served so ably, and people who serve our country. That is what I think we celebrate this weekend, and we take that as part of our journey with this society, that we're part of that. So thank you all who are our veterans in the pews this morning. I saw a young picture of you. So some of these old soldiers were once young soldiers, isn't that right, Jim? So thank you all very much. You know, this Sunday is an unusual one because in the ancient church, according to our expert, our theological expert, Jason Overall, he actually knows more than we do, but truly, some years ago when we were doing research, we found out that this Sunday was the end of the church year. Now, that may not mean much to you, but we're not kind of on the calendar year, right? So our year goes along with the story of Jesus, which begins with what? His birth. So this was really the end of the church calendar. And so they would begin after this Sunday to prepare for Advent. We're used to preparing a little later, and we tried preparing a little early. It was hard for us, wasn't it? Y'all didn't like it. We didn't like it either. But don't know what to do with those in-between weeks, but that's what the church did. So in other words, we're at the end of the church year. I take that seriously. And what better way than, one, to baptize Flint today, and to think about what part of what we just did, which was many of you bringing simple items, groceries, some money, to provide food for our friends and families that we love and cherish, and are in partnership in life with at Green Magnet STEAM Academy. And what better thing to hear this morning than Jesus' words, simple, direct, specific, I am the vine. I am the vine. Jesus is the vine, of course, and he goes on to say that you and me, but you, take it seriously, are the branches. And the branches produce fruit. And a word that we use in the church is ministry when we talk about fruit. We talk about it all the time. Those of you who've been in church a long time, have heard it so many times, you got it. Those of you new, you're going to hear it all the time. But I have to say, when we say it, it goes whoop over our heads. And so we tried, how do you describe it? We've tried to talk about it. I've done it for years. How do you do it effectively? Well, we came up with a better way. Was to have you, the people doing ministry, say something about ministry. And so Paul and his wizardry and the staff have been collecting videos. And by the way, this is an ongoing project. We're going to do this all the time with you from here on. But here's a little video this morning I think you'll appreciate.
Hi, I'm Zulette. I'm the Wednesday volunteer in the office at St. John's, and I also have the privilege of reading to students at Green Magnet, and I hope I'm making a difference.
I'm a community health development specialist, and I work at Love Thy Neighbor Project in Athens, Tennessee. We serve the McBain community, who is in a huge food desert, and I believe that all of God's creatures deserve the same right to food and healthy food. So I work to maintain the community garden to give them fresh produce. I'm currently doing a research study to determine the health of my clients. I believe education is the most amazing way to keep all of us on a level playing field. So I'm going to pursue a career in health education so I can make sure everyone has that shot of gaining the knowledge to take care of themselves that God blessed us with.
I love being in Daughters of the King. I wish that I could give every lady in the church this experience. It gives us so much gratitude and appreciation to be able to serve our church and to be able to serve the families after they have receptions. And it's just such a pleasure to be able to provide this ministry for the church.
Hi, I'm Joe Fowler, and I sing in the choir, because as a musician, I'm always looking for outlets for my art, and I find the choir is a challenging environment to hone my skills and to provide music for the congregation at St. John's. When I'm not at St. John's, I'm on the faculty and administration at the Episcopal School of Knoxville, running the technology program and some portions of the music program. And I enjoy shaping young people's lives and sharing the gift of music with them.
We had retired. We were looking for something to do behind the scenes. We didn't really want to be out in front.
Saw something in the bulletin about doing the polishing, and that sounded like something within our skill set, nice and behind the scenes. And once we got started, we realized it was immediate gratification, because you polish and there it is.
It's shiny.
And
all of a sudden.
another thing we do after we finish here, we go get a bite to eat, and then we go over to the Ronald McDonald House and work over there for them.
I had lived there when I was in college. I had actually lived there right after I graduated, and just loved that place. That building is just so awesome. And they turned my room into the playroom for the kids that are there with siblings that are in the hospital. Turned the different apartments into rooms for people to stay at while their children are in the hospital. And that's really hard, I know. I've had one over there, so they didn't have a Ronald McDonald House back then. So.
And then the other thing we recently did was go to Santa and Mrs. Claus School in Midland, Michigan, where we just learned a few things about doing that and how to share love and kindness through that kind of a ministry. And he looks the part for the part of it anyway.
Very figured out.
Yeah.
Don't have the weight yet. Working on it though, eating a
We
lot.
need to buy padding for that. Yeah. So, yeah. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Papa, eat.
I'm Michael Hensley, a member of the vestry at St. John's, and what I love most about St. John's is the community that we have here. It's an authentic community, it's a inclusive community, and no matter what part of life you come from, you can find belonging at St. John's, and you can find love in the congregation. So then how that translates to my vocation in public service, you have the opportunity to meet people precisely where they are and work to meet those needs at the personal level, but also the collective level. You can turn ideas into policies that just simply improve people's lives. That effort of bringing Jesus's characteristics into the public square, something really amazing happens because people feel seen, they feel heard. What I get at St. John's on Sunday mornings, I tried to bring that and apply that into my work week to meet people precisely where they are.
I have been an Episcopalian my entire life. Becoming a daughter of the King is a beautiful part and a very important part of my faith as an Episcopalian. It lets me love the other daughters and Christ. That's all. I mean, that's what it is.
I was trying to think what we were going to do for a bit. We don't have many glitches. So what is ministry? You heard it directly. You didn't have an intervention. I'm not going to describe it. You heard it. What did you hear? Spreading love. Bringing Jesus into the public square. Bringing hope to the barren deserts of food, but also, as important, the barren deserts of people's souls. Faith expressed in laughter and joy and gratitude, which then breeds what? More joy, laughter, and gratitude. And then the last one I loved, not the last one on the film, was helping Santa spread loving kindness all over the world. And yes, we can all help Don gain some weight. People like you. In fact, they are here this morning. They were at the church, and the rest of the people are on that video are in the pew this morning. And we have lots of your videos, and you're going to start seeing them. You see, no matter how you respond in faith, helping children read, learn to read more, to learn better how to read at Green Magnet. That's what we're doing. Or being a field representative for our senator. Or polishing brass, singing in the choir, running a nonprofit for social change, preparing a reception at burials. It doesn't matter. You see, it's not ministry alone. Listen to what Jesus is trying to say to us. I'm the vine, but we become vines in those places. So whether you go to the hospital and treat people with cancer, whether you teach people, teach children in their speech difficulties. I can point out all of you, one after another. You start a nonprofit for young men who need recovery and there's nowhere to go. You all are doing those things. We do them together. You are vines that produce branches, that produce spiritual fruit. It's how it works. And this place becomes a vine for all of us because it's here that we encourage one another, help each other, learn, get ideas. They increase, just like this simple one that came from one of you all saying, hey, what about that school that's about 3/4 of a mile away from us and we didn't even know it existed? That's how it works. Together we learn to live this faith in prayers, service, acts of compassion, giving, add to the list. This congregation has been doing this quite a while, 177 years. And we're doing it again today. Amen.